Alright, ladies, here's your drinks.
Yay!
Alright, so let's get started. So, Phúc, Ning, well, thank you so much for spending your time with us on this post-field trip tutoring session today. Well, on that day I could not make it because our family holidays.
I could not make it either because of family stuff too.
That's okay, we're here to help.
Wow, thank you so much. So, anyways, we are really curious about the field trip. Like, I heard that Mr. Picard took the whole class to the coffee, right?
My friend said that day was so fun, and Mr. Picard also gave you guys so many insights on that day. So, could you brief it through for us? What was the content of that day? And what did Mr. Picard talk about?
Yeah, sure. First of all, we visited and talked about the Ho Chi Minh Mausoleum, and then we walked through the Presidential Palace, and then finally Mr. Jason told us some interesting facts of the importance of the architecture.
Let's get started. Are you ready?
Ready.
Yes, I'm really excited to hear about it. So, what is good, guys?
Oh, it was mind-blowing. The mausoleum is not just architecture, it's the living testament to the legacy of Ho Chi Minh. Let's start with the basis. First of all, tell me something you know about the President Ho Chi Minh.
I know. He was born on May 19, 1890. He's a national hero and the founder of Democratic Republic of Vietnam. And he passed away on September 2nd, 1969 in Hanoi.
Wow.
So details.
Well, I just remember that about his commitment to communism and also his role in shaping modern Vietnam, make him immensely influential, and also his ideology, Ho Chi Minh thought is still applied in Vietnamese politics and society.
Wow, I'm so surprised that you guys have such a very concise information about that. And you guys might understand some more story behind when we chit-chat along. So let's talk about the Ho Chi Minh Mausoleum, okay?
Okay, so here, I already painted a picture for you guys. Bear with me. It's a 3-story masterpiece soaring from 21.6 meter height with a grand stage. The entrance door is a collection of germs from all over. Talk about precious.
The foyer, covered in red and pink marble, sets the stage. Well, it's like a canvas of the powerful words. Nothing is more precious than independence and freedom. Familiar, right? So alongside President Ho Chi Minh gold-plated signature.
Whoa, that's quite an entrance. So what about the cellar? As a kid, the cellar?
Yeah.
Sorry about that. Well, what about the cellar? As a kid, I also went there and remembered there was a cellar. And you can describe it to Ling.
Yes.
She hasn't been there yet.
Ah, that one. So that was dark, luxurious, and solemn, I could say. So the dark brown color connects with the nature and the rustic values, symbolizing President Ho Chi Minh's lasting legacy and connection to the land and to his people. And I also felt the warmth and the stability, making the atmosphere less gloomy as it is.
Yeah, and his body lies in the past scoffing, lower than the tourists surrounded by the guards.
Whoa.
Wow, it sounds like an immersive experience. Now, for the big question for me, why is Ho Chi Minh's glass case placed lower than the visitor's standing place?
Well, I know. Well, maybe for the tourists to see him easier, right?
Partially. I think there's more to just for people to see.
Okay, so I think for me it's about his humility and the closeness to the people. So placing him lower reflects his modesty, fitting perfectly with his lifelong dedication to the Vietnamese people and the country.
If that's so, it's such a thoughtful arrangement.
Deep, that's deep. Right, so, well, what about the mandala sculpture that our teacher mentioned in the class?
Absolutely.
Yeah. Mandala,
A mandala. So above the bed, a mandala sculpture symbolizes the convergence of powers. So it's like Ho Chi Minh is the, kind of like the chosen one. So in the evening, the yellow and the white lines shines into the skies. so emphasizing the significance of this figure.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. That's very amazing. One more question for me. What about the surrounding structures?
Okay, so as we went outside, we realized that the mausoleum was inspired by the Lenin's mausoleum. However, our half-tiered roof, which has a twist, is curved, raising a distinctive Vietnamese figure. The gray granite exterior is gray and black, with red polished stone on the interior create a solemn ambience.
And yeah, do not miss the black pole. So the black pole is the symbol of respect, which is raised at around 6 a.m. and lowered at around 9 p.m. So it attracting attention from so many people and tourists alike.
Yeah, when I was little, like my mom used to let me there.
Yeah.
So I think like the mausoleum is really a journey through history, culture, and a profound legacy of Ho Chi Minh. It's an architecture marvel that transcends time.
Okay. So, what's the next place you guys want to share?
The presidential palace, we all really amazed.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, it sounds so cool.
Indeed, it's such a palace.
Yeah, it's such a palace. Yeah, of course. So besides its majestic look, can you tell me what do you know about the presidential palace?
Oh no, like I have no clues. Like I just know that Ho Chi Minh lived there and worked there, right? And
Yes.
maybe it was built by French.
I know. I think I know. I think
Wow.
I win. Okay.
Okay, you try.
It was built from the 1900 to 1906, and it's a presidential area of the Governor General of Indochina. And I think it was the most luxurious building at that time. It was designed in European style, a kind of like neoclassical architecture by a French architect named Auguste Henry.
Wow,
Wow, that's awesome, Lynn.
that's awesome.
Oh yeah, and one thing, especially about the color, the characteristic of the yellow color really catch the eyes. It also represents the solemnity, authority, king, and power in general.
Yeah, the yellow color, it looks so cool though.
I agree.
So so we're mentioning about the presidential palace. So I want to ask something which is related to Ho Chi Minh. So we know that the presidential palace is very beautiful, majestic, and Ho Chi Minh used to live there, but eventually he refused to live in that palace. So here's the question. Can you explain why Ho Chi Minh refused to live in that place? And well, many people said that it's because of his dignity, and some say it's just because of his lifestyle. So what do you think?
Oh well, I remember Mr. Picard once had this question in a class. You remember that?
Yeah.
So, but he did not directly answer it during the field trip. However, I believe that I suppose that I can answer it to some extent. So, alright. So you guys know that the presidential palace is so amazing, right? Like I just told you before.
Yeah.
And you asked why Ho Chi Minh did not stay in such a place, right? So I think here's the thing. So after 1954, it was the palace was originally intended to be Ho Chi Minh residence. However, Ho Chi Minh refused. So you know why? So he might think that it is not appropriate to live in a large and luxurious building. So meanwhile, his people are homeless and hungry back then.
True.
He would never stay in such a luxurious place while everyone is suffering.
Yeah. So back to the question, like some say it's just because of his lifestyle or like because of his dignity. I think there's another reason. It is about the political situation. So like I think Ho Chi Minh at that time have no choice but to refuse stay in that place. Like even if he wanted to, he could not stay. Like in fact, like who else don't want to live in such a luxurious place, right? So it is just that Ho Chi Minh cannot stay there or anybody else in the government.
Why so?
Because you see, like if he stay in that palace, like there would be a sense of like jealousy or like doubtness from the citizens, while at that time the government was seeking the support from the citizens. Yeah, and you know, like the people, the citizens would then question why they need to sacrifice and follow the government's order, why the citizens are suffering and the government is enjoying their life, having a cozy sleep in such a majestic palace. Yeah. So I think Ho Chi Minh have no choice but to refuse staying in that palace, even if he wanted to, but like he could not because of the political situation back then.
Yeah,
agree.
Agree.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you knows about what? Like the Stilt House really successfully portrayed the modest lifestyle of Ho Chi Minh, which eventually helped him gain more trust and willingness from the citizens.
Yeah, definitely about the stilt house. So instead of the palace, so Ho Chi Minh lived nearby in a traditional Vietnamese stilt house, and the fun thing is it's surrounded by a garden and even a large fish pond. Yeah. So the stilt house is made from bamboo wood, which is kind of like just a very common type of wood in the construction of Vietnamese people. Meanwhile, the roof is tiled. The house has the wooden floors also. It had 2 floors. The first floor, which is the living room, where Ho Chi Minh welcomed the guests. And meanwhile, the second floor had 2 rooms, one for the workplace of him and one for the bedroom. So, you know, Ho Chi Minh lived and worked there for the last 11 years of his life. And the house was just very simple and neat, symbolizing the modest lifestyle of Ho Chi Minh.
Modest.
Yeah, I remember most about the small flower garden in front of the house. It was planted with many types of flowers. I have always dreamed of that house.
Yeah, me too, that house.
Yeah.
Alright, so okay, maybe we can move on. First, we conclude that well, not only Ho Chi Minh empathized with the citizens, and he also wanted himself to live a modest life, but like the political situation like also made him to live modestly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, cool. Right. So, what next?
Oh, so earlier you mentioned about the yellow color of the presidential palace. Could we discuss more on that?
Yeah, the yellow color.
Okay, sure. So iconic structures often become symbols of national pride and heritage, influencing collective memory and identity. And not just the presidential palace, many structure from a French building is also painted in yellow.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, but like you see, like there are yellow color all over the place, like in the old quarter or somewhere else, which have old buildings, right? But like, why is yellow so prevalent? Why it's so popular?
Well, in the context of French history, yellow is not just a random choice. It carries with deep historical and cultural significance. Yellow represents power and respect in many Asian culture, also like Vietnam and China.
Yeah, in the past, yellow often reserved for the emperor and his family in both Vietnam and China. Yeah.
Wow. So, why did the France choose yellow?
Wow, great question. Well, I'm asking that too, but I think that maybe because they want to blend in, and they wanted to adapt to the local culture of Vietnam, while also showing off the power. So that is what I call they show the dynamic of power. So when French overtake the power from the Ming dynasty.
Okay. But like, how is that yellow color in Vietnam different from that of other countries? What is the story of the yellow color in Vietnam, and what does it tell?
The yellow buildings that continue to exist are the symbol of colonial past and its lasting influence on Vietnamese culture and identity.
They carry a complex meaning of the combination of French and Vietnamese culture.
Yeah, today we consider these buildings as historical relics, representing the period of foreign imposition and control. It also provides for the architecture beauty and historical significance.
But yellow and architecture is also related to power in Vietnam, right?
Yeah, definitely. So keeping everything yellow is like saying we're back in control and we are guarding that what's ours. And also yellow, is like a nod of our Vietnamese people's skin color. Red blood, yellow skin. So it's all about standing up for the people and keeping the proof that our history alive.
Yeah. Well, I think that's the reason why the government's remain the old relics, maintain it, not changing it.
Agree.
Yeah. All right. So yeah, with just only the color of buildings, it says a ton.
Yeah, definitely. And we can see that architecture is not just architecture that we normally see.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So they do convey some messages, right?
Architecture is a form of art that expresses human creativity and ingenuity. However, architecture is also a powerful tool to projecting authority. It conveys a message of power and influence.
Yeah, for example, we first talk about the presidential palace, right? So the presidential palace is very large and tall. So I believe that this scale reflects the power and the authority of the Vietnamese states. So it also emphasized the majesty and the inviolability of the place. And also when I entered the palace, I felt a bit of feeling overwhelmed. So it's also a key factor in consolidating the position and the authority of that one who's in the power holder.
Yeah.
And the second building that we talk about is the mausoleum. So I think the mausoleum is kind of like the projection of historical power. So first of all, what impressed me was the massiveness of the mausoleum. So I believe that this massiveness represents the authority of President Ho Chi Minh. So the architecture, which is majestic, and also it has been used with the sustainable materials like stones, like precious woods, plus the quiet and the solemn space emphasize the immortal feeling of the mausoleum also. And the construction materials, if they were brought from many regions across Vietnam. It also shows the love of the Vietnamese people towards President Ho Chi Minh. It was built from materials like stones, like woods, like I say, and plants brought from all over the country. And this shows the respect, how much respect he received from the people of the country.
Yeah, and I think it's also convey the strength and also the authority of Vietnam. Well, I heard some story. The mausoleum is designed to be highly durable, restrained to bombs and earthquakes, right?
Yeah, correct.
And the mausoleum also designed with a special chamber to keep the body, the custody, the Ho Chi Minh
body,
in place, in case of warfare or something like that. And yeah, it's tight security system though, the security door and modern surveillance mechanisms, dense security force 24/7. You always see two guys with white clothes standing in front of the entrance.
Yeah.
And tons other also. And with all of that, it state the importance of the mausoleum to the state of Vietnam.
Yeah.
Wow. So it's time, right?
Yeah, it's time.
It's time. Well, you have a quiz, right?
Oh yeah.
All right. Okay. I'll let you go.
Okay, we'll let you go.
Thank you so much, spending time with us today.
No problem.
No problem. Thank you for
Thank
your
you.
insights.
Thank you so much.
Bye bye.
Bye bye. Good luck.
Good luck.
Good luck.